Selling can be one of those things that feels gross. And now, while because you can make something or paint something or figure out some sort of a service doesn't always mean you can sell it, I have seen a ton of creative entrepreneurs, perhaps just like you, who've built something really good. They just struggle with the whole asking for money part. And let's be honest, it's not because there's a lack of resources out there about marketing. They're everywhere. It's because for many of us, selling does not come naturally and it's downright an uncomfortable experience. So how do you sell your product or your service as a creative if you don't like selling? In this video, I'm talking to you, the one out there who loves what you do. You love what you create, your product or your service, because I want to tell you 3 reasons that you probably don't like selling, what to do instead, and then 7 tactics that you can employ this week so you'll feel more comfortable doing it. If that's you and you're typically thumbs down on selling, then hit the thumbs up button. While you're down there, hit subscribe and the bell next to it if we've not yet met. Hey there, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creative entrepreneurs. I love helping you figure out how to make more money with the words you're using to market your business. Let's get into it. Here are 3 reasons that you probably don't like selling and what to do instead. And because it's me and I collect quotes like some people collect stamps, I'm going to kick off with 2 really good quotes. First one, this was in the book Art, Money, Success by Maria Brophy. If you are a fine artist in particular, go ahead and read it. It's on my book list. She said, most artists hate the act of selling art, but love having sold it. Can I get an amen? That's probably most of us. I've worked with thousands of creative entrepreneurs over the year and I've absolutely seen that to be true. But here is the quote that I want you to hang out on for a little bit. Selling is more of a science than a natural born gift, said Jack White. Also, different Jack White than the one you're probably thinking about. But that quote's so good, let's put it up again because I want you to hang out there for a minute. If you've ever thought, well, some people are just naturally have the selling gene and I don't, it is absolutely something that can be learned. Okay, the reasons. Number 1, you're too hung up on what people think about you. And I'm allowed to say this because I've been this person. You're also probably not seeing yourself instead as a problem solver. I get it. I've talked before about my journey as a copywriter and how I could sell for other people all day, every day. It was so fun, so easy. Client work came naturally and then I'd turn around to my side of the business and it'd get a little hot in here. I'd even suddenly be looking for ways to discount or I'd feel guilty when I said my price. Here's the mindset flip in reverse. When you sit in the sales seat in your business, you have got to start thinking, I am giving someone my expertise, my wisdom, my know-how, instead of thinking I'm giving, not getting. So yeah, you're selling a $7,000 brand photography day rate session and you're getting a client for your November slot, but you're giving me, your client, more than 300 images that I can turn around and use in my brand library. I can use those for upwards of 365 days to illustrate what I do for my own clients. I can command my value because I look the part now. I can maybe even raise my rates a little bit because I look more legit. Then I could turn around and with the investment I've made in you, make 6 figures more. I know that piqued the ears of my service providers out there. If you're a product provider, maybe this resonates. There's that idea out there that nobody likes being sold to, but people like the feeling of buying things. But as long as you can sell with integrity and you know that your product or your service isn't going to be the ultimate source of someone's happiness, but you do know that it can help them solve a problem that they haven't been able to figure out yet. Remember the last time you bought something, you swiped your card, no matter how big it was or even how small. Maybe it was something you saved for, you pined for, you wanted so badly, or it was just something you knew was going to bring you joy and delight every single day. Buying can be fun when we're actually getting something that we needed. So start to see selling as a service. You're getting to go out there and help people with what you can get. And the monetary transaction is an even, fair market exchange for the value on that. Okay, here are some antidote action steps if you fall into this first category. First, rewire your thoughts. Listen to that spiel I just gave again. Number 2, this is my favorite. Use proof to help you sell. Pro tip, put it in front of you when you do sell. I always sell, whether it is on a webinar or it's on a sales call. I always pull up the product that I'm selling or the actual process so I can show what's inside it, and proof, testimonials and proof. I've done so many videos on those. I pull them up when I'm selling. And yes, it's for that person to see, but it also makes me feel better because I'm like, this is the concrete evidence that what I'm doing works. Another step, build an even better product. Reiterate, build it better. That'll help you feel really good when you hop on to sell. Next tip, get a better sales call script. I felt so much better once I had established mine. I talk about it in this video. I'll link that down below. And my last tip is learn how to argue better, both with the emotional and the rational side of things. I talked about that in a recent video about how to lawyer up in your sales copy, so I'll link that down below as well. Reason number 2, you maybe don't like selling because the product or service stinks, or let's be nicer about it, maybe it's just not proven yet. I see this reason, number 2, come along when the product isn't quite developed yet, and that's okay. You're gonna be in that space as you start and you grow your business. You throw spaghetti at the wall for a long time before you really see what sticks, and it's okay. Keep going, refine the offer, get it better and better and better. Good copy, I don't care how good it is, it cannot fix a bad offer. I have found from my copywriting for creative students that until I make them write their services page or their product descriptions or their sales page, whatever kind of offer page they need for what they sell, until I make them write that, they haven't quite thought about their offer from a prospective buyer's vantage point. Now, you've probably thought about your service or your product from a true customer or a paying client's point of view because you're working through it with them, or you talk to them after and figure out how to reiterate and make things better. But what about the skeptic, the person that's a little higher up in the sales journey or the funnel? They're a few steps back from paying. Have you thought about your offer from their point of view before? Look down below if you've never thought about this before, because I'm going to show you my services page anatomy. You'll get a little taste of what copywriting for creative students experience. I even mentioned it on my last video. I do not start writing anything up at the top or the headline. I always go for this section, the offer. Okay, here are your antidote action steps if you're a number 2. If you fall into this bucket, the first thing I want you to do is start thinking of yourself more as a scientist, and you have this hypothesis for something that you're testing and you're tweaking and you're pulling all these levers until you get it just right. You get there by doing your craft, doing it again, doing it again, doing it again, doing it again. Sometimes I feel like people don't talk about that enough, but there's so much of a craftsmanship or artisan standpoint to what we do, and you can feel really good about what you're selling if you truly are a master and expert in it. Another tip, go back and watch that Lawyer Up video. I've mentioned it a couple of times. It'll help you there because I want you to start packing in the proof. One more tip here is to productize your service. This is something I'm crazy about, and you can absolutely give someone a special snowflake-like experience and a custom experience even while having a productized service. I don't think I've ever done a video on how to productize a service, so comment down below if that would be helpful. I promise there's a way to do it and honor the client or the customer at the same time. Okay, reason number 3 you may not like selling is because you haven't embraced your inner sales psychology nerd yet. If you're confident in your offer and you're approaching what you do as a problem solver and you get excited about it, but you still don't like selling, I think you don't like selling because you haven't quite let your mind be blown yet with all the little tips and hacks that come along with communications and sales copy. I get a lot of folks in this boat. You're the expert. And if you're really in that craft, then you start to see the trends and all the little things impacting your buyers every single day. You know how to fix issues, you're ready for the puzzle to solve. But if you're still dragging your feet, keep watching, because I'm going to take you through 7 things that you can tactically do that I think might start to get your wheels turning here. I am going to give you a few antidote action steps to go ahead and begin nipping this problem in the bud. The first thing I want you to do is realize that not everyone likes to buy like you like to buy things. This is exactly why I have my What's Your Selling Style quiz. It's how to find your brand voice vibe, but you're going to realize that you have a certain specific gifting of ways that you like to be communicated to. And a lot of us sell the same way that we like to be communicated to. The problem is there's people out there who have a different opinion. So you need to learn how to build a messaging library, website, communication system that talks to different types of buyers. Another action step, just keep watching my videos. I talk a lot about sales psychology. A third action step, stop outsourcing messaging because you need to sit there and understand a little bit more of it. Go back and watch last week's video when I talked about Shark Tank. That's what I mean here. Okay, now we're gonna move into these 7 tactical things you can do, but before I go any further, comment down below, what number are you? I was totally a number 1 when I started my business. What are you? And let's move into how to sell with data-driven heart and intention. Not just fluffy feels, but solid things here. Number 1, sell them with expertise and process. Here you're going to look at specifically what you offer and sell them with the data and very specific things inside the offer instead of just the feeling that they'll have after. Erin in Copywriting for Creatives did an incredible example of this. I want you to look at her services page here. Do you see how crystal clear that offer is though? Semi-related, understand that you're selling the outcome, not just the product. So I used earlier in this video the example of a brand photographer, and you saw how I started thinking about what could I do with the images that I've been given. So think about that for your client or your customer. Once they get what you provide, what could they do better if you have proof of people that have done things? A second thing you can do is mention and argue for the other side, the other things that they could do if they don't invest in you. I dig into that more in the Lawyer Up video, but let the reader process that they're probably going to spend this money. Where else is it going to go if not to you? Number 3, honor your promises always. Be transparent. It is so easy to sell if you know that you over-deliver and you've got little surprise and delight moments up your sleeve that that client or that customer doesn't even know exist yet. It's also easy to sell if you've got an incredible client or customer experience or one that you're just super duper proud of. When I say honor your promises, if you tell somebody you're gonna have something on a certain date, service providers, get it there or beat it. This number 3 is one of my favorite. It's always just easy to sell if you know you do a dang good job. Number 4, know when to say no because you understand when a product or a service just isn't a good fit for someone's needs. If you know when to walk away from a deal or you know very clearly who to say is not a good fit for this product or service, you'll feel great. Let's flip the camera around. I want to show you a couple of examples on some copywriting for creative students pages. All right, 2 examples for you. Erin is an email marketing strategist. This is her services page, and then she has down here this section. She's talking about you're good to work with her, and if you're not. I also want to say, to make this even more juicy, it's a good idea to put things here instead of making it a list that's like, you know, like nada list, a list where you like really go there and you say like, get specific. You haven't yet hit $1,000 months, or you haven't yet hit 10K months, or whatever it is. Like, go ahead and be specific in this and don't just see, like, she's done a great job, but that would be one way to improve this a little bit more. I've got another example for you over on another Erin's page. Okay, what I wanted to show you here is, let's move on down. She's done that first part, so you can do the, like yes versus no, and you could also just go ahead and say who's a good fit for it. So I like to go ahead and like I said, I'm always going to address the elephant in the room. I lay it on out there in the copy that I write, but those are 2 student examples that I wanted to show you. Next thing you can do, practice and build an incredible sales call script. I've done a video on this. It's a must watch. You have to be able to look at someone in the eyeballs and tell them your price without freaking out. And I am first to say I could not always do that. I've messed this up before too. Learn from my mistakes. Number 6, don't oversell your offer. So this is kind of a fine line. I've talked about long form copy before, and it absolutely has a purpose, but you also don't want to sell so much and include so much copy that it sounds a little bit too good to be true. Like it's just a pack of note cards we're talking about. Robin inside Copywriting for Creatives started to play around with this. She sells t-shirts and she was applying some of our principles to that. And she worked together with my team and on calls to where we have copy that is good and reflects the t-shirt offer without overselling. There's an axiom I want you to keep in mind. Use as much copy as needed to make the argument and no more. That's why I absolutely believe in providing people with tons of frameworks so you can see the outline of the argument that needs to happen. Number 7, listen more than you talk. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Earlier in the video, we talked about being a problem solver, and you'll let people know that you're an empathetic problem solver if you're able to dictate exactly back to them, even verbatim at times, what they're saying. This isn't just important in their sales copy, but in your ability to pitch verbally, whether it is, at a meetup and you're having to explain who you are and what you do, or on a sales call or discovery session, kickoff, whatever you want to call it. Listen more than you talk. I'm going to throw in a bonus tip because I'm feeling spunky, but having an onlyness factor is an unbelievable way to feel airtight when you sell and so confident. If you can tell me that you're the only person that solves the problem that you solve, the way you solve it differently or better than somebody else, then that feels great because truly, I'm the only person that can help you in this way. And all my job is now is to help you decide if it's for you or not and get on your way. If you found this helpful, click that like button, send this along to somebody else who has the selling heebie-jeebies like you may have once upon a time before you watched this, and comment below, which bucket do you fall in? Are you more of a 1, a 2, or a 3? You do not have to be extroverted. I'm a case study of that right here. And selling is not some gene you were either born with or not. A lot of times it just comes down to a communications issue. But selling doesn't have to be something that makes your skin crawl. Instead, it can be your opportunity to share something truly impactful with the world. And that's what small business is all about. If you're struggling a little bit with the writing portion of that, watch the video on your screen now to learn how you can make copy that is irresistible. As always, thank you so much for watching. Here's to working from a place of more rest, less hustle, and I'll see you in the next video.